Hey, everybody, welcome to this edition of Turnaround Marriage Live. And today I want to dive in to smash one of those biggest myths out there. And it's common knowledge, it's what so many people believe, and it is simply not true, guys. What is true is that deep-seated disconnect in a marriage can heal quickly. And so, guys, maybe you're out there today. You're thinking, man, we've been at this so long and we've tried so many things and we've not been able to turn things around. Or maybe you've seen it around you, that just this common belief that, oh my goodness, if it's taken years for you to get stuck, it absolutely has to take years to fix it. You got to go back into your past. You got to relive your childhood. And there are so many years of disconnect that's grown. And as it's built up over time, you have to take it bit by bit back apart again. Guys, maybe you're out there and you're feeling really hopeless. Maybe you're like the one of the people that I was talking to this week, and she was like, she just felt so hopeless. And we hear this type of thing all the time where people are on the phone, they get on the phone with us and they're sharing with us like the things they've tried. And it seems like there really isn't much hope for things to be any better. And a lot of times people begin to believe this is like our sentence till death do us part. And sometimes another common thing that we hear is like it seems like it got better a little bit, but we're just destined to slip right back into those ruts. Guys, if that's you, this is exactly the place you need to be today. And maybe and you're even out there and you're like, it's not like it's been horrible, but it's never been good. And you've been stuck in mediocrity. Again, this is exactly for you. If you are finding us on Facebook, make sure if you search Trial Marriage, make sure you find our coaching page. You can like that. And also make sure you join us in our community. We got about 2,000 people in there. And if you search Turnaround Marriage, you're going to find both that group and that page. And we would love to be able to stay connected with you so that we can continue to encourage you in your marriage in every way. Also, if you're finding us on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video. That will mean so much to us. So, guys, I want to dive into this belief that it's simply not possible for there to be healing when there has been deep-seated disconnect. And I'm here to tell you it is simply not true. I will tell you from my own experience, it was bad for years in our own marriage. And we tried so many different things and we weren't able to get out of those ruts. It seemed like we were almost like destined for it. So maybe we have a heart, especially for people that feel like that things are hopeless for them. And I was just like I mentioned, I was talking to this woman this week that just felt so hopeless in her situation. And it was almost as if she had resigned herself to believe that struggling in marriage, in other words, the deep seated disconnect was the norm, that it always needed to be that way. And compared to some, her marriage wasn't as bad as them. And therefore, that's just the card she was dealt. But guys, this is not in the heart of God for his people. This is not his design for marriage, nor what he would have in his will for his people. Guys, maybe you're out there. Maybe it's possible that you've not been going about getting the right kind of help, or maybe you've not been implementing things in a way that is actually in alignment with God's best plan for marriage, or for you, or for what is in alignment with his heart for healing. Guys, it's simply not true. And when one person starts showing up with confidence and the peace of Christ in their hearts and the joy of the Lord, when they can really begin with great intention living that out, even if just one person does this, this can radically shift the dynamics in the context of a marriage. In the same way, guys, if a couple starts moving in the same direction instead of fighting at each other, coming at each other, or wrestling over the kids or whatnot, when you start going in the same direction, everything can change. Of course it will. Like that, things can get better very, very quickly. Guys, don't get me wrong here. I'm not saying that couples don't struggle with deep-seated pain or that they don't have those struggles internally. I'm not saying that doesn't happen. But the reality is you don't have to stay there. In many ways, staying there is a choice because for God's people, there is healing. And let me just share with you a number of reasons that we see why people stay stuck personally and in their marriage. And one of the main reasons that they're struggling in their marriage is, ironically, that they're stuck personally. Whether there have been disappointments in their life, whether there have been hurts in their life, whether there's been past relationships or things that have happened to them in the past, and they've not been able to move past that. And so often, I talked to a gentleman this week. So often, it's like this has become their identity. It's like I'm the trauma abuse survivor, and therefore, almost like this is who I am. And as I was talking to him, it became so real. Like, this is what so many professionals have put upon him, and he didn't know how to move past that. And it was the same for his wife as well. And guys, it doesn't have to be that way. But if you can find healing personally, how amazing it can be for the marriage. If you're stuck personally, you're not showing up the very best version of yourself. In some cases, guys, when you're dating, and like you're showing up like this one version, and then you go back into the negativity or brokenness and start living that out. It's almost like you've shown up with a broken with a you've been sold a bill of goods. Your spouse has been sold a bill of goods that isn't the truth. And if one is struggling, even one, and especially if two have that stuff that's keeping them back and they're stuck, how could they ever move ahead in their marriage? Number two that we see is being misunderstood by their spouse. Um, Guys, it's so interesting that we've talked to a lot of people, like we said. It's so often that people don't understand that men and women are actually just different. They're wired differently. It's not just they don't they men want sex more. Typically, it's not always the case. It's not like men just have tendencies this way. Women have tendencies this way. We actually process information different than one another, and so it's often the case too that in our upbringing, a lot of people didn't see modeled a husband and wife navigating their differences in wholesome ways. They didn't navigate the conflict well, and they never saw modeled what it should look like with a husband and wife coming at situations differently. And when they haven't seen that and they see their spouse coming at them this way, or it seems like their husband's clamming up, he doesn't want to be around them, or their wife's just getting naggy, there is a reason as to why they're doing that. And it's not just, I'm sick and tired of this marriage and I want to get away from this man or this woman. It doesn't necessarily mean that. But if you're misunderstanding each other, how are you ever going to move ahead? I was talking to another woman, and she was basically saying, like, my husband just wants sex from me, and I'll give him sex. Like, I just don't understand. He's like, no, I want sex, but I want to be connected to you. I want to be connected in heart. And it's so much more than you just being focused on the kids. Like, I want us to thrive. I want us to be connected. That's because what I will stand by this. People oftentimes disagree with me. I will stand by this, that men are highly emotional beings. They have emotion just as much as women. It just looks very different. Men, when we have emotion, we don't necessarily talk it all out. And we certainly don't want to talk about it to a whole lot of people. But we would love to be able to open up our hearts to our wives if we felt safe there. So, guys, I'm here to tell you that things, when you understand the other person, everything can really change. And if you look at some of our ads that you might have seen out there, look at some of the comments. People will always say, but what if you have a husband like I do who's a narcissist? And I'm not saying there aren't narcissists out there. Of course there are. But I wonder how many times men are hurting, they're struggling, they're showing all kinds of emotions. They're internally with the way maybe they're shutting down their marriage, they're getting upset or frustrated, and their wives are just labeling them as narcissists when in reality they're longing to connect with their wives. They don't know how. And likewise for the woman, they don't know how to connect with their husbands. I'm here to tell you, if you're on different pages and understanding each other, how could you find healing? There's going to be deep-seated disconnect the longer it's been that way. Another reason, number three, is emotions get in the way. Guys, if you've been really frustrated or you're really angry that your spouse isn't fulfilling you, isn't filling you with encouragement and speaking your love languages and being a blessing to you, and you are just angry and you're just frustrated and you're like lonely even, or you're lacking joy, the height of those emotions usually are getting in the way of healing, forgiveness, and connecting with each other. So if you don't deal with all these deep-seated emotions, it's actually the emotions getting in the way. that are preventing the connection, you're going to stay stuck there. Number four, and it's similar to that, but it's not the same, and that's unforgiveness and the lack of trust. I'd kind of put those two together. Unforgiveness, guys, just saying that you're sorry and hoping and praying that you can just move past it, this isn't real forgiveness, because what has to happen is that there has to be trust that's built back again. It can't just be, I'm sorry, why can't you just forgive me? Like, this trust is built like a house, it's like brick by brick, board by board. And if you are not addressing disconnect from the past where there was infidelity or even pornography use or broken trust in any way, it's hard to move forward if you don't have trust. Of course, that's the case. And maybe there's even just as simple as, like, there was a challenge that came up, a financial pressure, or dealing with you know a mother-in-law or a parent that's gotten sick or older. Even that disconnect there about what that looks like, it could be about your kids even. If you did not see to eye to eye and didn't function as a team, there has been built up mistrust, and that may very well be getting in the way. Which leads us to number five, which is a real biggie, and that is going in different directions. If you've got different goals, if you have different understandings about parenting and where you need to go as parents, if you have different views on life and money and purpose, and where you want to go and what's meaningful to you, even what's going to do for vacation, it's like you're two ships passing in the night. You're just going meandering. He's over there going that way, and she's going over there, and it's sort of like we have a business partnership about this house and the kids sometimes, but really you're just doing your own thing and you're not on the same team. And of course, this deep seated disconnect is going to stay this way until you start getting in the same direction. So, guys, I know you're hearing this today and you're wondering, okay, we get it. It makes sense. What do we do about it? Well, guys, first of all, I want to say there's a few things you can do. First of all, you've got to get personal healing. The Lord Jesus says he has healing in his wings for his people. There is healing in abundance. And for some of you, that means you really need to seek the face of God, and you need to spend time in his word, and you need to let the love of God wash over you. You need to allow the Spirit to be at work in your heart and life. But usually that's pretty difficult to do if it's been a long time without outside help. You might very well need outside help. You might need a mentor. You might need a pastor to talk to. You might need a Sunday school teacher, or especially somebody who's older in the faith that can really walk through that with you. Another thing that you need to do is to, very similar, is to get the outside perspectives to help you to see those blind spots. It's not just that you need healing. You may be very well showing up in a way that's pushing your spouse away, and you may not even see that. And I believe everybody needs mentoring, they need coaching, they need encouragement from others that will lovingly say not just what you want to hear, but would challenge you and say, brother, sister, but what about here? What about there? I want to encourage you to get on the same page as your spouse. This is another thing that you can do. How many of you have ever taken a time away where you have like a dream weekend? Usually people are like, oh, let's spend a lot of money. Let's go to the beach or go to Disney and take the kids. But how many of you would invest the time of going away for a weekend, just something simple, going to like a cabin, walking in the woods, and just talking about where you guys want to go together? How powerful could that be in bringing that disconnect that's built over time back together again? It can be a real game changer. It could be really a powerful thing for the two of you. And really, with that, is the next thing that you can do is really do everything you can to sow a deeper understanding with your spouse, of your spouse. When's the last time you actually listened to them? When's the last time you put yourself aside and your pride, and you just said, honey, tell me what's been going on for you? It's been a long time since we talked. And just be curious, just be open to hear what they have to say. Ladies, you'd be surprised how much your men would be willing to open up if you were to rub the back of their head, their shoulders, and sit down next to them and say, what's going on with you? I want to hear what's going on. And same, men, for you to go to your ladies and just to engage them eye to eye. Say, what's going on in your heart? Guys, this would go a long ways, just this on a regular basis, in bridging that divide. Guys, I'm here to tell you, though, that many are out there that you're recognizing this all makes sense and this sounds good, and you're recognizing these deep-seated patterns for you personally and in your marriage. I've been this way for a really long time, and you're recognizing that this all makes sense. You want to believe that there is hope for there being change. And you're just recognizing that you've tried everything you can do on your own and it's not working. And guys, you probably do need to get outside help. So, what I want to encourage you to do is to book a breakthrough call with us where we talk about what's not working and what you dream things could be, and then a path to get there. You just go to turnaroundmarriage.com/call and pick a time that works. We've got like 2 slots in the next couple weeks, maybe a couple more than that. I'm not sure. We're pretty booked up. So I'd encourage you to book that call right away so that we can help you to talk about what are some of those blind spots that you've not seen? What are some of the reasons for the deep-seated disconnect and what might be possible for you? Guys, I'm here to tell you, we see miracles every day. And I was just talking to one couple that share with me that they've been married for 35 years and the wife was like just overjoyed at the way that God is healing the two of them and how God is that's bridging that divide between the two of them. And after 35 years, it's like, I'm finally have so much hope and connection with my husband, and it's amazing for them, and it's so fun to see from our perspective too. Guys, also this week, hearing a couple share with me that they're sleeping in the same bed again after years not doing so. How amazing is that? Guys, it's so fun. It's so powerful. God has healing for his people. And I'll just share with you, we just got an amazing testimonial for one of our clients that we worked with this past summer, John and Sarah. And her name and Sarah wrote a long one. You can, if you go to our coaching page, you can see that full testimonial. But I just want to read a part of what she said. She said, "We found ourselves on opposite sides of our problems rather than us versus our problems. And turnaround marriage was exactly what we needed. Scott and Rachel expertly and graciously got to the heart of what's the matter and helped us recognize what else could be true. They helped us identify and bring out our best self and move the needle quickly to change the trajectory of our home. Let me tell you, it worked. We did what they told us, the hard work to focus on what's truly important. Scott and Rachel have sorted out how to help navigate the limitations of our human nature, marriage dynamics, and typical struggles between men and women. It was amazing to tell them our frustrations, to try the new approaches they offered, and to see improvements right away. They say that the kind of ground that we were gaining takes most couple years in counseling to accomplish. The Lord has blessed these two with the ability to provide relief so much quicker. Guys, I'm here to tell you, we love what we do. And if you're out there today and you've been struggling for a long time and you're sick and tired of it and you're finally ready for the healing, reach out and book that call at turnaroundmarriage.com/call. And we'll talk real soon. God bless you. Talk to you next time.